Back in 2011, when it first hit the shelves, Olympus boldly claimed that this camera was the Usain Bolt of autofocus, the fastest in the world. Here you go, the Olympus Pen E-P3. Da, 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 da. I have been looking for a cheap, capable, and tweakable Olympus camera for experimenting with producing film look images straight out of the camera, similar to what I did with the Canon G series, especially the G12 and G1X. Well, I still enjoy experimenting with the G series. However, I'm wondering what if I do the same experiment with other brands. I believe each brand has its own different customization menu that I can play with. It is highly probable that you can achieve a certain look only with a particular camera brand, or even in a specific series within one brand. So this is part of the long journey of this channel, which is experimenting to mimic a film look on old digital cameras. If you don't want to hear the fuss about this camera, you can just jump straight to the Fuji Superia 200 recipe for it, and the recipe should work on any Olympus camera that has the same layout settings. Now, the Olympus Pen lineup is like a menu with 3 delicious options. We've got the flagship EP series, the consumer-friendly EPL, L for lit, and the short-lived EPM mini lineup. Today, we are diving into the 3rd generation superstar of the flagship series, the Olympus Pen EP3. So, why this EP3? First, this camera belongs to the flagship lineup, hence you can expect the best version of the Pen series. You can feel it as soon as you hold it. This guy feels really solid. It is heavy, yes, but it gives you that premium feeling. When you look at the pop-up flash, for example, it feels really sturdy. I mean, compared to my lovely Fujifilm X1, in terms of build quality, I think the EP3 wins it all. I mean, it is heavy, and if it falls on the floor, it might break your floor. I'm being serious here. I would say that the build quality also surpasses my Canon G12 and G1X. This camera is obviously not a pocketable camera, but still quite compact in hand. The Olympus Pen EP3 also sits in the middle of the Pen series. The price today is relatively affordable. I snagged this one for $100. The overall condition is like new. However, the image stabilization in this one is somewhat broken. It has the weird noise when starting up. I don't really need the image stabilization after all, so it's okay with me. If you are eyeing a second hand of EP3, I think you need to make sure that the built-in image stabilization is still working. It seems that this problem is quite common in this series. But if you are okay with the depth IS, then you might find a good price for this camera on the market. I know this is cliche, but perfection is overrated. I bought this camera body only without a lens. I bought a cheap adapter to throw my vintage Russian Industar 50mm f3.5 lens on this camera. If you are adapting vintage lenses like this one, please be aware that this lens is designed for a 35mm film, equivalent to a full-frame sensor camera. So, when you attach this lens to a micro four thirds camera like this EP3, you get a 2 times crop factor. So this 50mm Industar now acts like a 100mm lens. That means you get extra reach, but also extra tricky to take photos with slow shutter speed. This camera originally comes with the standard 14 to 42mm kit lens. If you do not like that bulky kit lens. There are a lot of options. Some of the best options are the Pancake Olympus 17mm f2.8 or Olympus ED 12mm f2, which is considered one of the best micro four thirds lenses ever made. Or you can use the Olympus 17mm f1.8. The E-P3 is also the first flagship pen with a built-in flash, which is very important, at least for me, as I love to do flash photography experiments, especially, again, to mimic that film look out of your digital cameras. If you do not really need that flash, do not care either about the autofocus because you like using manual lenses anyway, you might just want to go to the EP2 or even EP1. The only thing that disappoints me about this camera is that it has no viewfinder. Of course, you can buy an external Olympus EVF, but that means extra cost. The only pen series that incorporates a built-in EVF is the Pen F, which today is still hanging on a high price on the market. I think the Pen F has become many people's dream camera for some reason. Or you can buy a cheaper optical viewfinder, of course, but you won't be able to use manual lenses to focus. So I think what stands out for me is the camera's tweakability. I tried a couple of times to tweak the settings just to get to know what this camera is capable of. One of the things that I quickly noticed is that you have many different customizations when you shoot in black and white on this camera. I might want to explore that further in the future. If you are following this channel, you probably know that I have been experimenting with film recipes on the old Canon G series. This camera will join the family representing the Olympus cameras. So this is the first recipe for the film look on the Olympus pen series. I tried to mimic the Fuji Superia 200, so let's call it Fuji Superia 200 recipe. Da 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 da! So first, what you need to do is go to the OK button right here. So you might not have the same interface like this. Instead, you might have this one. So you might want to enable this interface. So what you need to do is hit menu and then go to the setup menu and then go to menu display and make sure to turn the menu with the gear icon on. Next, you need to go back by hitting the menu button and then go to the custom menu, go straight to display setting, go to control settings, select PASM and make sure you set the SCP as on. You can turn the live control on, but I like to turn it off. And you can go back and voila. So here's the recipe. For the white balance, set it to cloudy or 6000 Kelvin, 6000 K. Amber or A for 0. Green or G for plus 7. So these two, the amber and green, are representing the white balance shift that you can find in Canon camera or Fujifilm or any other brands. And then picture mode, set it to portrait, sharpness 0, contrast +2, saturation or RGB, set it to +1. I like the color to look a bit punchy. If you prefer the color to look a little bit muted, you can set it to -1 or even -2. Gradation high, color space Adobe, And for the ISO, you can set it to auto, or if you shoot fully in manual, you can adjust them as you go. I don't mind with grain, so I don't really have the limit in terms of ISO. So I think the look that this recipe produces is similar to Fuji Pro 400H experiment that I did with the Canon G12. You can check the video if you haven't. I'm excited to do more recipe experiments with this camera along with my Canon G12 and G1X, as well as my Fujifilm X-E1. So I think that's it. If you want more top secret hacks and tricks to transform your ancient cameras into Hollywood superstars, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to join me on this photographic roller coaster. Until next time, keep snapping and keep it budget tight. Au revoir.